It's already a killer storm, now with 60 million people in its path. And all America can do is wait, as Hurricane Sandy approaches with devastating force. Several cities along the eastern seaboard are already underwater and power lines are down. The presidential campaigns have been suspended. Barack Obama now back in the White House as the emergency unfolds. And New York is effectively shut down, as our international editor Lindsay Hilson reports.
They're calling it the Frankenstorm, an Arctic jet stream wrapping itself round a hurricane and wreaking its fury on the eastern seaboard.
This is a massive storm, as you've mentioned, and it is just going to get more intense.
This morning, America woke up to reporters on blustery beaches all along the coast. At 8:15 tonight, a storm surge is expected to hit densely populated parts of New Jersey, and massive flooding is predicted in New York. President Obama cancelled election rallies and returned to a rain-swept Washington from campaigning in Florida. His motorcade headed for the White House. Everyone remembers how badly President Bush handled Hurricane Katrina, which hit New Orleans in 2005. Mr. Obama has to show he's in charge and his government is ready.
The most important message that I have for the public right now is please listen to what your state and local officials are saying. When they tell you to evacuate, you need to evacuate. Do not delay, don't pause, don't question the instructions that are being given, because this is a serious storm and it could potentially have fatal consequences if people haven't acted quickly.
His rival Mitt Romney called on supporters in the swing state of Ohio to donate to the Red Cross, and then also suspended campaigning. He can't afford to be seen to be politicking at a time of national crisis. Hurricane Sandy threatens America's most significant cities. The storm's moved north along the eastern seaboard, but a band of cold air sitting across Canada is forcing it west. Once it's turned inland, it will slam into a wintry weather system carrying snow and ice. There's a danger of 11-foot surges along the Delaware and New Jersey coastline. Satellite imagery shows the hurricane expected to become 1,000 miles wide. The weather systems combined could produce a foot of rain, 80-mile-per-hour gusts of wind and 2 feet of snow. Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Businesses are boarded up and sandbagged. But some people just had to see for themselves if it's really worse than Hurricane Irene last year.
Well, me and my daughter just wanted to see how bad it was. We came out here last year for Irene, and it's nothing like this.
You do not need to be going to the beach to take pictures. You really don't.
And it's getting more dangerous by the hour. Floodwater is already seeping into lower Manhattan. The New York Stock Exchange is closed for the first time in 27 years. The metro's not running. The New York police have told people to leave low-lying areas. They're already canoeing down the streets of Long Beach and leaving their homes. The storm is expected to hit around the same time as the highest tide of the year, increasing the size of the surge.
It's a little exciting, a little scary. Get your adrenaline pumping.
We've never seen anything like this.
No.
The waves are triple the size of a human being.
Woo! It is high noon in Rehoboth.
On the TV, they're getting even more hyperventilated.
The Atlantic Sands Hotel, so it is unobstructed. This is an idea of how heavy these winds are now.
Especially on the Weather Channel.
Of the storm. Of course, you notice the sea foam all around me. Well, it looks like it's snowing here, but Janelle Klein is where it's actually snowing in Snowshoe, West Virginia. Janelle, what is the scene there?
It's really incredible to see this, Eric. As you guys are saying, the hurricane causing so many effects along the East Coast. Here in West Virginia, this is the result.
HMS Bounty, a replica used in adventure films. Out to sea, the Coast Guard rescued 14 crew members from the tall ship before it sank. They fought 18-foot-high waves and 40-mile-per-hour winds. 2 crew members are missing, presumed dead. The fear is that they will not be the last casualties of this superstorm.
Lindsay Hilson, well, I've been speaking to Danielle Lee, a reporter with America's NBC, who is waiting for the approaching storm in Cape May, New Jersey. So tell me, what is the latest where you are?
Right now we're getting some intense rains here. The winds are picking up, and if you take a look behind me, just take a look at these rising tides. The waves are getting more violent, and we are hearing reports of flooding already. This storm is just getting going, and at some roads, people are up to their waist in water if they try to pass through those roads. Roads in and out of Cape May, some roads are closed both ways, so it's getting increasingly hard to get out, and I'm talking to some residents here who stayed behind, ignored the evacuation orders, and are now saying they regretted it. We're already hearing about power outages, and we aren't even to the worst part of the storm. That's going to be later tonight, and when those winds get here, those 85-mile-an-hour winds, the likelihood for more power outages is pretty likely. Those outages could last for up to 2 weeks just because of the severity before they're able to get power back to everyone. So anyone here is really needing to be ready for the long haul. Back to you.
Can you give us a sense of the scale? I mean, how much of the East Coast is threatened by what you're experiencing there?
Well, a good portion. I mean, most of the Northeast on the coastal part of the Northeast are experiencing similar conditions. Based on how high in elevation you are, that's going to change. But we're talking about New York all the way down through New Jersey, parts of Delaware. There are even parts of Connecticut that are now evacuating because of this storm.
And will we know tonight the extent of the damage, or could this go on for days?
I don't think we'll know tonight the extent of the damage, because tonight is when the storm's going to hit the worst of it. Through the morning, it's going to stay bad. I would say that we aren't really going to see the extent of this damage probably until Wednesday.
And do you think people are prepared?
I think that there's a good amount of people who are prepared. We talked to several people who were boarding up homes yesterday. The shelves at stores were completely empty, people getting those non-perishables, bottled water. But there are a lot of people who are not prepared, and they're coming out now saying, we wish we hadn't ignored those evacuation orders. We wish we had boarded up their homes. For whatever reason, they thought that this storm was not going to be as bad as it's turning out to be, and they're regretting not taking the warning seriously.
Well, we can go now to some live cameras along America's East Coast. Let's take a look at the scene in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, a little over 60 miles from New York City. And here's the scene further south in Ocean City, Maryland. That's about 150 miles from Washington, D.C. We'll be live in New York a little later on in the program. But for all the latest on Hurricane Sandy, including film, photo galleries and blogs, go to the Channel 4 News website, channel4.com/news.